I want to tell you about a man I know named Red, and the most extraordinary story of a little crepe myrtle that became a beacon of hope in his life. It all began on February 11th, 2022, a day that meant the world to Red. It was his father's heavenly birthday, a day he always honored with something meaningful to keep his dad's memory alive. That year, Red decided to plant crepe myrtle seeds in small pots in his office at work, placing them under a grow light with a quiet hope that they'd grow into something as vibrant as the love he held for his father. He cared for them diligently, picturing the beautiful blooms they might one day become. But life took a heavy toll on Red. By August 2022, he found himself in a dark place, grappling with his mental health. He made the courageous choice to leave his job to focus on healing, walking away from his office for the last time, leaving those little pots behind. For over a year they sat in that empty space, forgotten and neglected, as Red fought his own battles. In October 2023, his employer granted him a disabled retirement, a moment that marked the end of a difficult chapter. A month later, in November 2023, Red received his personal belongings from the office, and among them were those crepe myrtle pots. The tiny trees he'd planted with such care were nothing but dry, lifeless sticks in cracked soil. They seemed beyond saving, a stark reminder of the time he'd lost to his struggles. Still, Red couldn't bring himself to toss them out. He placed the sad little pots on his kitchen counter, and, in an act of quiet defiance against despair, began watering them as part of his routine with his other plants. I remember him telling me he knew it sounded crazy to water dead trees, but something in him couldn't let go of the hope they represented. Then, on January 29, 2024, something miraculous happened. As Red glanced at the pots, he noticed a tiny green sprout pushing through the soil in one of them, a new crepe myrtle, emerging after nearly 2 years of dormancy. That seed, planted on his dad's heavenly birthday, had waited through all the neglect, through Red's absence, through the chaos of his life, only to awaken at a moment when he needed a sign of hope the most. He was overjoyed, watching that sprout grow with a vigor that seemed to mirror his own slow journey toward healing. But the story doesn't end there. In August 2024, Red, still learning about his plants, made a mistake. He topped the little tree, hoping to shape it, only to learn afterward that such a cut can sometimes spell disaster for crepe myrtles. Sure enough, the leaves fell, and the tree seemed to wither. Red was devastated, feeling as though he'd lost this precious piece of hope that had carried him through so much. Yet even in his grief, he didn't give up. He kept watering that seemingly lifeless pot, holding on to a flicker of faith. And then, at the end of January 2025, another miracle unfolded. A new shoot sprouted from the very spot where he'd cut it, a vibrant burst of green that declared this little crepe myrtle wasn't done fighting. I'm in awe of Red's story. It's a tale of a tiny seed that held on through years of dormancy, sprouting at a time when Red needed a reminder that life could still bloom in the darkest moments. It's the story of a plant that survived neglect, mirroring Red's own journey through mental health struggles, a retirement born of hardship, and the weight of losing his father. It's a tree that came back to life not once but twice, first after being abandoned in an empty office, and then after a near-fatal cut, each time reflecting Red's own resilience as he watered it through his tears, never giving up even when all seemed lost. Planted on his father's heavenly birthday, this crepe myrtle feels like a quiet connection to his dad, a living reminder that beauty and growth can emerge from even the hardest times. It's a story of miracles, of second chances, and of the incredible bond between Red and this little bonsai, a bond that has carried them both through the storms to see another day of sunlight.